What if I told you that there are 4 critical lifelines that you need to be infusing into your business every month, specifically into your branding and social marketing, in order for you to be able to attract the customers and opportunities that you deserve? And that if you are overlooking any one of these critical lifelines, your business is going to be on life support. But if you find a way to incorporate all 4 of these lifelines in your business, you are going to see your results soar. You're going to see revenue and customers streaming through the front door. Welcome back to Purposeful Presence, your resource for branding and social marketing for entrepreneurs. I am Coach MJ. I am a social marketing and brand strategist. I'm a keynote speaker, a published author, and an event producer, and the host of this amazing podcast. Welcome back. If you're new, please be sure to subscribe and share this episode and like and comment as well, depending on whether you're on LinkedIn or on YouTube or watching this on Facebook. So today we're going to be going behind the curtain to explore the world of producing your brand. Because, okay, first of all, let me tell you why I'm using event production. Well, you could probably guess why I'm using event production as my analogy for today. I have been producing events for decades, concerts, conferences, parties, all kinds of gatherings. I love producing events. It is like one of my most favorite things to do is to create an event from an idea in my head and then see it brought to fruition. I just hosted the book launch, for my brand new book, Breaking Through. I just had a brain fart. I forgot what I was saying. Breaking Through, Startup Stories from Trailblazing Black Women Entrepreneurs. If you have not gotten your copy, go to melaниehunter.com/breaking through to get your copy. But that amazing event was I just love putting on events and watching people experience being a part of the event and going away with a certain type of feeling or result. Okay. So I'm going to liken your branding and your social marketing as a production that you are going to be putting on every single month. And in order to have a standout brand, it's going to take a lot of careful planning, creativity, and polish. So if you want your brand to be able to captivate your audience and make a lasting impact, we want you to make sure that you are doing these 4 monthly brand boosters. They are an absolute must. Maybe you've noticed you're not getting the sales that you deserve. Maybe you're noticing that you're attracting a certain type of people, like you're getting traffic, but it's the right type of people for your brand or for your product or for your service. Or, like I said, you're seeing crickets on your social media, in your emails, in your cash register, whatever that is. And it could be because what you're doing is not complete. And so we're going to talk about what those 4 steps are today. So stick around. I'm going to show you how to run your brand like the headliner of a show that no one wants to miss. So again, we're using event production as an analogy. So first off, every event starts with a blueprint. It starts with a detailed plan that maps out every cue, every spotlight, every moment. I kind of have to, when I'm planning an event, I kind of have to begin with the end in mind. Like Stephen Covey said, you have to kind of see the things you want to play out at the event. And then you have to reverse engineer it to figure out how to make that happen, to make sure that your audience is engaged and they're hooked on what's happening and everything goes smoothly. So when it comes to your brand, that's where strategic campaign planning comes in. So let's dive into why setting the stage is the most important. Well, I shouldn't say the most important, but it's the first step that you need to take care of every month. Every unforgettable brand event starts with a blueprint, and without it, you're going to have chaos. So part of setting the stage or your strategic campaign planning every month is that you're going to need to review last month's marketing efforts like you would evaluate the success of a previous event. So in other words, if you're putting out things into the marketplace, you're putting out branding, you're putting out social marketing, and you're not looking back and seeing how the previous month happened, or in my analogy, what happened at the last event, how are you going to make improvements? So you want to look at what part of your brand production went well, got you the results that you wanted, the sales, the attendance, the responses, and what did not go well, what fell flat. You want to make sure that you do this every month and you're looking back at what went well and what didn't go well so that you can know how to improve for the next month. You're going to need to analyze key metrics like your engagement or your conversion rate. Your conversion rate is how many people went on to do what you wanted them to finally do as a result of seeing your ad or your post or your video. Maybe it's buy something. Maybe it's join your email list. Maybe it's just respond in the comments. How many people converted, right? That's what conversion rates mean. So you need to analyze these numbers and all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, even YouTube has some kind of way where you can go in and look at your metrics to see what happened on your platform, because they want you to be successful as well so that you will continue to do business on their platform. And then as a part of your strategic campaign planning, as you're setting the stage for your brand production, is to plan next month's campaign. So this is all happening at the beginning. This is all happening in week 1 of a month. So I guess I need to mention, we're starting from week 1 of a particular month, right? So in week 1, you have all the data from last month. You can look at it, evaluate it. Then you can plan next month, not the current month. So you're planning. So right now, this is February. This is actually the second week of February. But if it was the first week of February, we would be planning for March. Okay. So when you first start doing this with these 4 lifelines we're going to talk about today, just know you're going to have to kind of be, you're still going to be doing what you're doing currently, but you also need to be planning for the following month. You're not going to be doing things in the month. Well, I shouldn't say that. There will be a couple of things you'll be doing while the month is going on. And I'll explain those when we get there. But for the most part, you need to be planning in advance. So you're going to be planning the next month. You're going to be setting clear goals, whether it's changing and improving those numbers that you had from last month, or whether it's looking at different themes, if it's holiday based, or maybe there's some type of natural movement month to month in your industry. Whatever that is, you're going to be looking at those themes and then looking at specific timelines. This is where you're going to be looking at, what do I want to do in the first week? What do I want to do on specific dates of the month? This is where you strategize that. You're doing it the month before, so you have plenty of time to come up with what you need to come up with to make this campaign go without a hitch, okay? And you want to make sure you have time. You don't want to be running up against, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that this month was, Women's History Month, or that this was our anniversary month and we need to be putting something out for our anniversary. You don't want to get snuck up on like that. So that's why you're planning in advance. So I'll give you an example of using your, somebody keeps calling me. Stop calling me. I'm running my show. For example, just using your metrics to help you. Like, let's say if your ticket sales or your lead magnet was converting at a low rate last month, you can brainstorm a more enticing way to get your lead magnet or your sales up the next month. You can have time to brainstorm that if you're a month in advance. So you want to treat your marketing calendar like an event run sheet. The event run sheet has everything in it that you need to make your event go well. So your marketing calendar that you're developing is going to do the same thing for you. Map out your key dates and the content release times. So now that you have your blueprint for your brand production in place, it's time to move on to giving it the wow factor. This is where you do your creative content development. So a memorable event, remember I'm using event production as my metaphor. A memorable event captivates the audience with unforgettable performances and visuals. You want people to go away from your events always remembering, oh, that was so beautiful. I love the decor. I love the feeling. I love the activities. You want to have a wow factor so they'll remember it. That's the same thing with your brand. So for example, now that you have your content calendar and you know what you want to hit and when you want to hit it, now you can experiment with different content formats. Like, are you going to do behind the scenes videos? Are you going to do educational posts? Are you going to do audience spotlights? So you have a lot of different ways, different modes that you can use to get a certain result. So in the first stage, when you were setting the stage, you were talking about what you want to accomplish. Now you're deciding and creating based on exactly how you want to bring it to life. Is it a video? Is it a post? Is it a spotlight? You want to develop content that supports your campaign's goals from the first week. What does your audience need to experience in order to take action? So you always want to be planning this from the perspective of your audience. So you have to stay always in the mindset of your ideal target audience. So not even you might not be your target audience. Your business might not, the product or service that your business offers, you might not be your target market, right? Let's say you are a person, maybe you're a woman and you sell men's clothes and you don't wear men's clothes. So you're not your target market. So you don't want to think like you think. You want to get into the mind of your ideal customer, the men in the age group and the size and the type of work or whatever of the clothes that you sell, for example. So you want to get in their head and ask, what does my audience need in order to take action? What kind of, and again, that's where it comes back to looking at what happened before. What types of posts do they seem to like? It doesn't matter what you like. It matters what they like, right? What type of content do they resonate, that resonates most with them? Then you guys know Canva is one of my favorite tools. I literally live in Canva every single day. Use Canva Pro. I say Pro, they do have a free version, but there's so much more great stuff in Pro. I couldn't imagine being handicapped by going back to the free version. And it's not that expensive. So give yourself the gift of investing in Canva Pro, but you can use it to design visually compelling graphics, presentations, and promotional materials for whatever it is that you want to create. By the way, I do have my upcoming Canva Flyer Masterclass. And I may as well just throw the website up here now. MelanieHunter.com/Canva is where you go to register. In this I think it's 90 minutes. It's a 90-minute class. Plus we have a pre-show that happens beforehand. But in those, I think it's about 2 hours total amount of time. It's not just about flyers. I use flyer as an umbrella term to talk about, social media headers, your flyers, your posts, any of the graphics that you use on social media or even in your print materials. And you're going to learn design principles. You're going to learn how to create them in Canva so that your flyers are not on life support, so that they don't quite, a lot of times you'll try and you'll give it your best because you're not a designer. It won't quite look right. And you go ahead and go with it. And then you recognize that nobody's buying or nobody's showing up. It could be because they're not taking your event seriously. They are judging your event, your business based on what they think about with the experience that they're having with your graphics. It makes a difference. Yes, you can go ahead and do things in your business and you don't have to wait on perfection, but you do want to do things with excellence. And so if you want to do your event your graphics in general with excellence, you need to get in on my Canva Flyer Masterclass ASAP. MelanieHunter.com/Canva. Okay, back to the wow factor. So we talked about using Canva. So you want to be able to batch create content the same way that you would rehearse acts for an event, right? Preparing everything ahead ensures a seamless performance. So there are ways in Canva that you can set up one template and then you can batch create an entire month's worth of content and then schedule it out so that it's going on. That's actually what we're going to talk about in the next step. But you can batch create so you're not having to make your items one at a time. Every time you go in, you got to start with a fresh idea. First of all, in order to be consistent with your branding, you don't want to be going in with a fresh idea every time. Your content needs to be tied together some kind of way. It's going to be the colors, the fonts, but also the general layout, the way you use, the way you lay out items on the page, the way you use images, the way you position your content on your graphics. It needs to be consistent so that people recognize it when they see it. Even before they read it, they know it's coming from you. So that's important, but you can learn how to create in batches so that you can, at the click of a button, a click of a few buttons, can create a whole month of content, and then you just ready to post it, right? So we just talked about adding that wow factor, creating content that converts, that gets people's attention, that looks polished, and that reflects the excellence with which you do the things in your business. We don't want people misjudging your product or service as substandard because your graphics were substandard. Okay. So we're going to do creative content development with excellence to add that wow factor. Then after that, it's time to cue the automation crew. An event producer, I know this to be true, although I've not always lived it, can't do everything yourself, right? Cannot handle every task during the show. You got to rely on a schedule and a team or a crew to keep things running. And your crew, this is your third lifeline that needs to be in place every month. This is in the third week. You're going to schedule your show using automated campaign scheduling. You can batch and schedule your social media posts, your email campaigns, and your blog updates. Most social media platforms whether you can do it on the regular account or maybe you have to go to a business account on some of the platforms, will allow you to pre-schedule your posts and your engagement. Why? They know you can't be in front of your computer at all times, or even if you can, you're not going to. Wouldn't it be nice if you just were sitting in one place and on one day and you set up things to go out at times when you're asleep or when you're traveling or when you're working on other things and it's just firing off on schedule? I am part of a nonprofit board and I manage the Facebook part of the Facebook group. And I have posts that go out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, engagement posts to keep the members engaged. And there's a bunch of them, I guess, like I said, 3 a week. So it's about 12 a month. I was able to schedule those out, create them and schedule them out. It probably took me, I guess, with putting the post together, maybe 20 minutes to schedule out a month's worth of engagement. So the group is moving on and I'm not there, right? You want to be able to do that same thing. Scheduling. You can use Canva, right? It lets you pre-schedule the graphics that you create within Canva from right there. You also have platforms like Later or Buffer. Facebook has a behind the scenes within the Meta Business Suite that allows you to pre-schedule, right? YouTube, you can schedule things to go in the future. They all allow you to schedule in advance. So take advantage of those. You also want to pre-plan email reminders for your audience, much like sending invitations and follow-ups for an event. So you want to think beyond the basics, right? You want to schedule your video content or announcements well in advance, okay? You want to make sure that you are looking at, okay, I want them to do this on this date. What do I need to do? What reminders do they need leading up to it? And if you're using a great CRM or some other platform, you can schedule those out and create them in a short amount of time. Okay. You don't have to put a whole lot of deep thought. You know, a lot of times my reminders are all, if I have reminders leading up to an event, you know, the day of, the day before, 2 days before, 3 days before, they may all be duplicates of each other. And the only thing that's different is how much time is left, right? It's a day left. It's 2 days left. So don't make it hard. Let it be easy, but get those things in place. You want to schedule at least 2 weeks of content at a time so that you can focus on engaging with your audience rather than scrambling around for ideas every day. And I'm going to admit something. I'm going to admit something right now. As much as I know about this stuff, I don't always do it. You know how you can teach other people to do something. Sometimes you are not doing it yourself. Sometimes I'm not doing that, which is why sometimes my posting is not consistent because I'm busy doing other things. But it's so liberating and freeing when you can know that these posts are happening and it's already set up for 2 weeks out. You can just batch create. You can even start out with a week at a time. If you're one of those people that wants to post every day, Monday through Friday, just set up 5 of them each day. Or it will start out with 2 weeks. And then in that second week, it's scheduled 2 weeks. And then in the next week, schedule 1. And you'll always be a week ahead. What you're working on today needs to be going out next week. So that way, if you ever have anything that comes up, this is like a pro tip. If you ever get sick or you have to travel, you're not immediately knowing you're up against the wire or your pages are going to go silent, right? You've got some stuff, you've got some buffer room built in, okay? And so now, so we talked about scheduling. We've talked about setting the stage and doing your planning. Then we talked about creating the content, right? Then we talked about scheduling the content. Now, the fourth and last lifeline is brand enhancement or polishing up the production, right? Okay. I can't tell you how often I go out to someone's business page or to their social media sites and I'm seeing imagery that was there, I know, a year ago, 2, 3, totally outdated. Even if the information is the same, there needs to be a refreshing of that graphic, of those brand elements. You're going to stick to your same branding, the fonts, the colors and that thing, but I'm talking about the graphics themselves. If I click on somebody's cover page on their Facebook, for example, and it says 2022 or 2023, for this matter, 2024, I'm thinking if they haven't updated it in all this time, they're probably not in business anymore. And that might not be true, but that's where people go. They look at those graphics on your headers and things of that nature. They also look at, are you posting? So if I don't see any recent posts, And then your graphics, like when you think about your social media headers, that's kind of like your front door, or it's like a welcome sign, or it's like your address listed on your house, right? It's the thing that welcomes people into your page. And if it's out of date, it makes them think either you're out of date and you're not doing things with excellence, or they think you're out of business, right? I recommend that you revamp your social media branding presence every month, right? Just like opening the doors of your event, every detail needs to be picture perfect. The fourth week of the month, you need to be reviewing your visual assets to make sure they're consistent. Are your designs, your fonts, and your colors cohesive? You may have made a little switch, right? You may have shifted a little bit. Every once in a while, I'll be shifting my fonts because sometimes I fall in love with a new font and I'm like, well, maybe nobody will notice but me. I need to make sure that everything reflects that, so that if they go to my LinkedIn, if they go to my YouTube, they go to my Facebook, to a lesser degree, TikTok and Instagram, because they don't really have those branding things, but you want to make sure they're having a consistent experience so they never have to question, are they at the right place? Sometimes when I'm going from a person's different social media platforms, I have to do a double take to see, am I on the right place? Is this them? If your presence is consistent, they won't question. As soon as they see it, they'll know it's you, right? Refresh your website in addition to your social media headers. It's like event signage, right? Signage at your event. Then you can use Canva to, I tell you, if one more person calls me, this is real life, y'all. People are calling me like crazy. I've been going live at 2:00 on Mondays for months. I'm gonna need them to know that. Anyway, you can use Canva to design new branded templates or update your seasonal graphics. It's so easy to do once you have a brand template. You create your brand template. In other words, the layout that your header always is. And then you're swapping out things. You're swapping out maybe a photo, or maybe if it's like Christmas, which just was in the rear view mirror for us, but you can just add a Christmas graphic to what you already have, but you're not recreating it from scratch. You're refreshing it, right? But it's the same basic layout that you've been using. Revamp your homepage. Small, thoughtful updates signal growth and professionalism, just like a well-polished event stage, right? So these 4 brand boosters: strategic campaign planning, creative content development, automated campaign scheduling, and then brand enhancement. They need to be happening every single month. Every month, to keep your audience engaged and to show that you're still moving ahead with them. Nobody wants to go to something that looks outdated, unprofessional, boring. I've seen it before. I remember there was a store that was in Louisville, it was a consignment furniture store called Idea. Unfortunately, they went out of business, but I liked going in that store. For one thing, I just love thrifting in general. But the other reason was they always were moving their furniture around. Every time you went in there, it was a different store. Not only because people were consigning items all the time and it was different items in there, even when items were staying week after week, month after month, because they hadn't sold yet, they had people that worked there that would move the furniture around and create different scenes, different rooms I don't know if it was every week or every 2 weeks. So there was never a time I went in there that it didn't look different. Even if I recognized individual pieces, oh, that's that red chair, that's that thing, but it was in a totally different scene. That needs to happen for you every time they come to you. I mean, it's not going to happen every week necessarily, but definitely every month. They need to be having a different experience with you. So if you are ready to become the brand producer of your next big hit, right? Being able to attract the customers that you deserve and the opportunities that you desire, not just scrambling around all the time, wondering what to post, wondering why things aren't working. I want to invite you to join my Branded Social Marketing Academy. It just launched. We just opened our doors. And the good thing is, everything you've been learning about in this episode is what we do week to week in the Branded Social Marketing Academy. Sometimes social marketing and branding can be overwhelming. Not sometimes, it is overwhelming if you don't have a system. So I don't throw you in there to this big library and tell you, just figure it out and hope for the best. Each week we focus on one of these 4 lifelines, just one. In week 1, we're going to focus on your strategic campaign planning for the next month. So if this was week 1, which was last week in February, we'll be focusing on March, planning for March. And then we're looking at in week 2, which this is week 2, but we will be working on creating all of the graphics and content pieces so that they are in place and ready for you to schedule in week 3. Now, sometimes as you're creating items, you can be scheduling them even during week 2. Sometimes there's overlap, but we're creating all the flyers, all the graphics, all the posts, all the items that you're going to post, even documents, things that aren't necessarily created in Canva or a program like that. We do that in week 2. Week 3, we're scheduling everything out because remember, in week 1, we already put together our calendar. So we know what days we want things to go out and what's going to work and what the themes are and all that. In week 3, we're scheduling. And then in week 4, we're making sure that our brand is still cohesive and we're going through and refreshing our brand. Each week, we just focus on one thing. We have co-working sessions. There's opportunities, some hot seat opportunities. There's some opportunities for you to get special feedback on your specific designs and things. I just had another brain fart. I was just thinking about something else. But anyway, the Brand and Social Marketing Academy at melaniehunter.com/academy. That's where you want to join. It's designed for that's what I was trying to think of. Solopreneurs, small business owners, entrepreneurs who like to DIY your own stuff. Maybe it's because you like to keep things in-house. Maybe it's because, hey, hiring a professional marketing company is super expensive. Graphic designers can be expensive. Sometimes not, but if you want them to really build a brand for you and do something consistent for you month after month, it is very costly to get it professionally done. You can learn how to do these things yourself in the Brand and Social Marketing Academy. So melaniehunter.com/academy is where you need to go to get signed up. And we do have discounts available if you want to just do it annual. Then you have a full 12 months of access through one-time payment. You get 2 months free if you do the annual, or you can just do it month by month and take it from there. So I look forward to meeting you in the Brand and Social Marketing Academy. And until next time, I got to go answer these calls. These people bothering me. But until next time, continue to be purposeful about your presence online and in real life because it matters. And I want you to be able to attract the customers and the opportunities that you deserve. So until next time, take care and be blessed.